Hey, Wonderhussy here. Today I'm at a place called Canyon du Chelly. It's spelled like Canyon de Chelly, so you've probably seen it written. I didn't know how to pronounce it either, I had to look it up, but apparently it's called that because the native peoples who lived here had a word that sounded like Shay. I think it meant people of the rock. And the Spaniards, when they came over and took over, you know how they do. They try to give it a name that sounds like what the native people call it, but they spell it and butcher it in their own way. Well, for whatever reason, they spelled it Chelly. I'm not really sure why, because that's not really a Spanish type of spelling, but hey, what do I know? Anyways, Canyon de Chelly, Canyon de Chelly, that's where I am. And it's friggin' awesome, look. Unbelievably beautiful, huh? But unfortunately, most of the bottom of the canyon is closed off to tourists. This is a national monument and it's actually free admission, so it's really cool. But they don't allow you to go down into the bottom of the canyon because you can probably see there's a house there. Well, there's still Native Americans that live down here. People whose ancestors lived here still live down there. It's pretty cool. I mean, look at this, dude. This is real. This is not fake news. This is not a fake backdrop. This really exists in your backyard if you live in the USA. So I don't know what your excuse is, but you need to get on out here and check this stuff out. It's amazing. Anyway, because people still live down there, you have to have a permit and you have to get a guide to take you down, like an official Navajo guide, which I think is actually really cool. Probably keeps out a lot of yahoos that way. Unfortunately for me, I'm on a budget, so hiring a Navajo guide is kind of out of the question. But I thought I would just come here anyways and take a look around because there is one trail you're allowed to take that goes down to one of the ancient dwellings that were built here. I mean, this is kind of like, if you watched my video, I went to Chaco Canyon and they had those huge stone buildings that they built. This was part of kind of like the same peoples and the same culture. So I think this building that's down there looks a lot like the ruins at Chaco Canyon. Looks like there's a storm, a brewing. It's the very end of May, and I guess it's kind of like monsoon season here. So hopefully this is one of those storms that'll just blow over. But I don't know if I really want to hike down into a canyon when there's a thunderstorm raging. Yikes! Okay, so there is this visitor center when you first get here, but it really didn't have very much information or history on the place. So I didn't personally find it very useful, but there is something kind of cool here. They have this recreation of a Native American dwelling called a hogan. This is actually pretty cool. Check this out. Okay, unfortunately, it's gated off, so you can't go in, but I'll just put my phone in there and show you guys. This is what it would be like if you lived in a hogan. I think this is super cool. It's kind of like a yurt, all made out of logs, with a fireplace coming up the middle, like a teepee kind of. I guess they used to have a fire in the middle of a teepee. Well, it's just, this kind of reminds me of like a hybrid between a yurt and a teepee and a log cabin, I guess. It's pretty cool. This looks like a cowboy's been living in this hogan. He's got his lasso and his hat and his flannel, all his bridles and whatnot hung up there, and he's got his American flag because he's a patriot. And then over there, got his wash basin because he's a clean patriot. And then over there, he's got his religious tapestry because he's a Christian clean patriot. Oh, and then looks like he's got his little pink makeup case there because apparently he was a cross-dressing Christian clean patriot. Man, I gotta meet this guy. Or, I don't know, maybe this was a cowgirl's hogan. Look, she liked Coca-Cola, and she liked doing dishes, and, oh gosh. Oh, look, she liked Elvis. She was a good girl. She was crazy about Elvis. Anyway, that was cool, but I want to go hike around inside the actual canyon. Okay, so this White House Ruins Trail is the only trail you're allowed to go down into the canyon on without a guide. So let's go see what it's all about. Whoa, I like this trail already. Look at this. Warning, 600 feet sheer cliff. Control children and pets. It's definitely right up my alley. You know I like my hikes with an element of danger. Boy, look at this. They aren't kidding. There's this overlook here that if you have vertigo, you might want to fast forward through this part. Whoa, see what I mean? That is a sheer drop. Down into the Canyon de Chelly. But there's the trail we're going to be taking. It's a little bit more gradual. Kind of switchbacks around. I think it goes down 600 feet, which means we're going to have to go back up 600 feet. But I think I can handle it. I mean, if I've done the Grand Canyon down and back in a day, pretty sure I can handle this Canyon de Chelly. Okay, now we're starting on the trail. You can see here it's pretty straightforward. Oh wow, look, we have to go through this spooky tunnel. Oh my god, this trail, I've barely been on it for 10 seconds and it's already awesome. Look how cool this is. Oh man, this is so amazing. Well, I'm hiking along and there's other people on the trail, obviously, and I just got a helpful tip from an Indian woman, not a Native American Indian, but Indian from India woman with a Scottish accent. Okay, I guess she moved to Scotland from India and that's where she learned English. That's one thing I love about the world, man. I know a lot of people are opposed to globalism, but I don't know. When I'm in Canyon de Chelly and a woman from India with a Scottish accent gives me a tip that I should cross the bridge when I get to the bottom of the canyon, I think that's awesome. Anyways, yeah, she told me there's a bridge at the bottom that I want to cross because I guess they were confused and didn't cross it and had to wade through some water. And then the guy that she was with started teasing me saying there was alligators in the water. So anyways, when we get to the bottom, we got to remember to take the bridge. Where's that confounded bridge? It's interesting too, I've seen a ton of Chinese people here. Like just about everywhere I've been lately, there's a lot of Chinese tourists because I guess China has a middle class now, a bigger middle class with the money to go traveling and see stuff. And sadly, some of the places I've been, people weren't too enthused about that. China! You know, there's some anti-Chinese bias. But to me, I find it interesting because the friggin' Navajo peoples or the Anasazi peoples that built all these dwellings and lived here back in the day, well, they originally crossed over from Asia on the land bridge anyway, so we all have common ancestors. Why shouldn't modern day Chinese be able to come appreciate it like us? Oh, holy cow, you guys, it's even more beautiful down in this canyon. I wish you guys could really be here with me because, you know, you can see how beautiful it is, and to some extent you can hear how still it is, but there's no way I can convey the smell to you. I mean, these juniper pines smell amazing right now, I guess because it's been raining a lot lately. Oh, it just adds to the whole scene so much. One of these days, one of these Silicon Valley guys will figure out a way to put smell in videos too. Well, maybe that's not such a good idea. By the way, you guys, this is a Thursday afternoon, and you know, there's a lot of things that are very difficult about being self-employed, and especially in, you know, doing this kind of thing, YouTube. Like, it's ups and downs, and you never know how much you're gonna make, and blah blah blah. But if I can be here on a Thursday afternoon, I'll take the ups and downs. Self-employment or death. Looks like we're almost to the ruins of the old White House. But look how cool it is down here, man. Look at, I can't pan too far to the right because there's an actual Hogan with somebody living in it, I guess, and it says no photos, so. Oh, look, that must be the bridge that Scottish Indian woman was telling me about. Okay. Pretty swift moving. I certainly wouldn't want to wade through it. I'll take the bridge. Okay, wow, the White House ruins are at the bottom of this sheer friggin' cliff face. Wow. If you watched my video that I made at Chaco Canyon, it looks a lot like this, similar construction. But then what's different here is they have that second story, or that second dwelling that's built into that little cave up there. And that is amazing. Man, how friggin' awesome would it be to go up in that cave dwelling? It looks like there's graffiti carved on it. Let me see if I can zoom in. You know what I mean? Like, that does not look like ancient petroglyphs. It looks to me like people climbed up there more recently and carved their names into the rock. But when I say more recently, it still looks pretty old. Okay, well, that's pretty much all there is down here to look at, and you can't even get close to it. Like Chaco Canyon, they let you walk around inside the ruins, which I still can't believe they do that. I guess Chaco Canyon's less visited, so it's not as big of a risk. But here, you're only allowed to look at it through a fence like you're at a zoo. So I guess I'm just gonna hike back up. I mean, remember, we still have to hike 600 feet back up to the top. And fortunately, I think that storm I was worried about blew away that way. We're going back that way. Uh-oh. Wind just kicked up. Sky looks ominous. I think that storm might be moving in right overhead. And you can't see this, but I'm carrying basically a lightning rod, selfie stick. Yikes. Oh man, I just better get to the top of this trail without further ado and get to the safety of my rig. Whew, made it. And not a moment too soon. I keep hearing the rumbling of thunder. Gotta stop and do one last overlook though. Isn't that amazing? We just hiked up all the way from that river. Whenever I do a hike like this and I get to the top, or reverse, if like I hike all the way to the top of something and then I get back down, I always go, oh man, what if I left my car keys at the bottom? I'd have to go all the way back down to get them. Oh, fortunately, got my keys right here. Whew, hear that? Made it back to my car before it really started raining. So it's a win, and it's a win on two levels. One, I'm not gonna get soaking wet, and two, it might wash some of these bug guts off my windshield so I can get better GoPro footage while I'm driving.